Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to a new season of the Panther Pod. I'm your host, David Jensen, and today we're here with a Chapman legend. We have Officer Hinson of P-Safe, TikTok, social media, acting, judging everything that we have at this school. Officer Hinson, and our new
emergency manager. Yeah, officer was like when I first started here, but I feel like I will always be P-Safe Hinson, but now I'm a lieutenant and I'm the emergency manager. So, it's been a ride. I've been here almost 8 years now. So, and I've gotten to see like people like you grow up.
Freshman year, I definitely saw you a lot around the dorms, and I've always felt like way better around campus just with you making sure that we're making good decisions and just still having a good time.
Honestly, I think I mentioned your name before I ever met you, someone had told me about a bunch of stuff that was on Fizz, and you were blowing up on Fizz your freshman year, I think.
Yeah.
And so like I dropped your name in a crime log, and people like kind of went crazy, and then we got like a selfie at like a tabling event.
Yeah.
People were like, there's the collab we need, so it's just it's been a story since then,
What I want to do with this right here for the Panther Pod is get to know you behind Officer Hinson, where you started and your origins and everything like that, and what led you to Chapman. What was your experience in school?
Ooh, my experience in school was tough, to be honest with you. I was big, redhead, softy. I was always tall, and I got bullied all the way through elementary, junior high, high school. So I would say those were tough years. And it wasn't until college where I kind of escaped that and was kind of able to kind of become myself a little more and explore who I was and stuff. But I was a 3-sport letterman and probably like a closet thespian. Like my senior year, I finally had like the confidence to go do like a musical show and did some singing and stuff.
So you were Troy Bolton, right?
Little
high
bit,
school musical?
Little bit.
Yeah?
I don't know that I got the girls like Troy, but I definitely was trying to put it out there,
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in North Orange County. I literally like 15, 20 minutes from here. Kind of just grew up locally and did track and basketball and cross country and enjoyed surfing and was kind of,
OC kid, right?
Southern California, Orange County kid, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So where do you go to college?
So I started out at Mount San Antonio College, and I ran track there. And then I went to Fullerton College where I ran track some more. And then after that, I had a local high school call me and asked me if I wanted to come coach. And I kind of decided whether track was where I was going to go or not. I got hurt in a car accident and just kind of decided whether I wanted to try and keep competing or not. And then the coaching job came up, and I decided to start coaching at that point. So I was a high school head track coach for 2 years at one high school, and then a bigger high school liked what I was doing, and they brought me over to them, and I was there for about 7 years. And then I actually coached at San Diego Canyon College right down the road here for about 2 years. And then I had a family, I had kids, got married, and decided, well, I need to pay the bills, and coaching wasn't really doing it, so I decided to put myself through the police academy.
So is that when you transitioned, when you had a family?
Yeah, so, it was kind of, you got to decide, like, okay, am I going to chase my dreams or am I going to do what's best for my family?
How long were you in law enforcement for?
So I was only in law enforcement for about 5 years before I got hurt again, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was on the SWAT team and I did patrol and just kind of, I really enjoyed my job, and I really thought that's where I was going to be. Okay. I really wanted to rise up through the ranks, and I wanted to lead officers.
It kind of does blow my mind that you were on the SWAT team because I don't know, how I have always seen you as someone who's very charismatic, open, and you don't take yourself too seriously, and you're kind of a community member. You're not a hard ass.
Yeah.
That's just
can I be a type A personality? Yes. But can I be a big softie? Also yes. My dad worked a lot growing up, and so he wasn't around a whole lot. So I was with my mom, and I was the oldest of all the grandkids. So I was with my mom and my 2 aunts. So I was around them all the time. And then I had 2 sisters. And then when I got married, then I had 2 daughters. And so I've just kind of always been around, women.
Yeah.
And have always been allowed to kind of connect with my softer side, I guess.
Right.
I cry at movies and TV, and but then I think the law enforcement side of me, I'm able to kind of shut that off too. And so when I need to, I can be that person.
Right.
So you learn to flip the switch and compartmentalize, and And there's a time and place for both things, you know?
So having this, I guess, more empathetic and softer side of you, did that make you feel a little bit different than everyone else in the police academy?
I mean, as far as like the police academy, I think you kind of shut off who you are. Like, you're not allowed to be a person, you know, whether it's a police academy or boot camp for, you know, military or whatever, like, you're not allowed to be a person. Like, you have no identity, right? But once you get done with that, and then you go out into the real world, and so then I join a law enforcement agency and stuff,
Right.
I think then that's when you can kind of then begin to be yourself a little bit again. And so I always enjoyed doing community outreach type stuff. I did like Shop with a Cop and Coffee with a Cop, and you know, I enjoyed being out there and helping people. And
Right.
so I think then, yes, there are like, and even here we have like old school officers who don't even want their picture taken, you know, like they don't want to be any part of that kind of stuff. But then we have newer guys who understand social media and that kind of thing. And so I think, you know, reaching out and doing community engagement type stuff and tabling events and showing up for your shows and that kind of thing, I think some of them realize that, hey, like we can connect with you,
Right.
you know? And to me, making those connections is the biggest thing we can do to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Just driving around and being visible, like that's huge, but connecting with you so that you feel comfortable talking to us and letting us know when something's going on, you know, or like you're having a hard time. I've had kids that sometimes I've had like weekly lunches with them and stuff just because they struggle. Like it's their first time away from home, you know, being on their own, and for some people it's a hard transition.
Right.
And so let me be that person. I don't have to give you a grade. I don't have to teach you content, you know, that you have to then know to like go out into the real world and be a business person or a film person or, you know, whatever it is that you're learning here at Chapman. But let me be there for you if you ever are struggling with, hey, where do I go if I have a dead battery, or, you know, having car problems, or, you know, how not to burn food or whatever, you know, because obviously you live in the K. You know, we set off smoke alarms all the time, you know?
Yes, I did
So,
that.
yeah.
I learned my lesson
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I think that's a really important part of how you've kind of made yourself someone on campus that, at least for me, and I think a lot of people feel the same way as I do, that you're not a law enforcement person that I'm scared of, like, let me make sure that like my blinker's on when I turn right. I just actually feel safer when I'm around you, and I think it's that community outreach that you've been doing that if you're around, it's more like, I think I can leave my computer in my car and it's not going to get stolen or something. And I think you've done a really good job with that.
I mean, I get people who like reach out, just they're like, hey, I need help with something, you know, and have a question or whatever. And it's just kind of who I am. I'm a girl dad, you know, and I've always been a part of their lives, and their friends have always been a part of our lives. I volunteered in their classrooms. I substitute taught in their classes. I've coached them. I've been choir dad. I've been like theater dad. I've gone on field trips with them. Like they've just always been around like their lives. And so their friends have always seen me. And so then their friends were always welcome at our house. And you all are basically the same age as my kids, you know, and so you are like my kids. And so I feel like I am fairly in touch with what you all are going through, especially with my kids just moved into their dorms and got their first like big girl apartment, and, you know, rushed a sorority and the heartbreak she went through. And, you know, like I've experienced a lot of what you all are experiencing and what your parents are experiencing. And so I feel like that just allows me to connect on such a deeper level than just showing up to stuff. So even like, you know, I see families moving in and stuff, like I can just relate to them immediately, you know? What do you guys need help with? Let me help you guys. Cause I maybe and a lot of times they'll be like, I just got back from Texas from moving my kid in. What do you guys need help with? You know? So there's immediate connection, and it makes people a lot more comfortable asking questions too. You know? So.
And it builds trust with like the parents too, when they see you helping in with the move-ins and everything.
Yeah.
That when they go home, you know, someone's out there looking out for their kids.
And a lot of them follow us on social media, you know, and they'll be like, oh, I watch all your crime log videos, and they'll like want my sticker. Like they'll come to like family day or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, you got any of your stickers on you? And they want selfies for their social media. It's hilarious when the parents ask for that stuff.
So speaking of social media, that's something very unique about you, is that you're kind of a social media influencer, and you're kind of a celebrity of your own outside of Chapman too. How did that come to be?
Oh, man. Let me preface it by saying, you know, you guys all kind of think I'm like a local celeb, but I know like a real influencer has like millions of followers, and I'm not that, but yes, people know me on campus, and there are people who love it and there are people who hate it,
I think you're selling yourself short a little bit. You have over 100K followers on TikTok, right?
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you don't have to be too modest. You do have an actual following.
Yeah, so there is, and that kind of ebbs and flows. But so that all started when I first started working here. Our current chief, who was then our deputy chief, had said to us, like, we want to provide the Chapman experience,
Right.
And so I'm like, well, how can we do that,
Yeah.
And when I first started working here, we would drive through the dorms, and students would like yell not very nice things at us from their dorm windows, And I'm like, that's not, like, as a dad of a college kid, like,
Right.
I don't want to portray that image. I don't want them to think of me that way. Like, what can I do to change that,
Right.
And so I was like, okay, let me try social media. Let me like go on Instagram, And so I started doing some Instagram stuff. And then one of the guys that I work with was like, hey, have you ever heard of TikTok? I'm like, no, what is that? Next thing I learned quickly, and next thing you know, there's like a viral video.
So what was the first viral?
The first viral video was of myself and another officer dancing up on top of Wilson Field. And it was hilarious because I made just a handful of videos prior to that, and it was just like I always did like lip sync stuff.
Right.
And I was like, I think we can kind of dance a little bit, And so I'm like, so let's try and dance a little bit. Like within hours, I'm like, hey, there's like 10,000 views. Hey, there's like 50,000 views. Hey, there's like 100,000 views. Like, and it just kind of blew up overnight. And so that was the first one. And after that, that's when like people on campus were like, hey, can we interview you? Hey, can we do a story on you for our class? And and really, to be honest with you, like doing the TikTok, like my purpose of that was to put that at the beginning of like crime log videos, just to hook you guys into watching educational content,
Right.
So I'm like, what can I do that's going to entertain you and then hook you in to like watch stuff that's going to be good for you?
So how did
You
the
know?
other officers feel initially when you're getting them to do dances and everything? I'm sure they're all
It's
tough
been tough.
guys.
It's
Yeah?
been really tough. Yeah. I got to find the right people who want to do it. I got to be careful on how silly it is,
Right.
because I can get them to make some like lip sync videos. Not very many want to do like dance type stuff. We did one last year that went like super viral.
Yeah.
And the officer who was in that with me, and then two Safe Ride employees, who I love my Safe Ride team,
Yeah.
and but he wants to be a police officer, and so I need to be careful because not all law enforcement agencies are going to love that.
Right.
They're not going to recognize that. Hey, we're out here doing community engagement. Like we are humanizing the badge. We
Right.
are making it so that people can recognize us and be comfortable talking to us. But there's a fine line between like going over the top silly and doing more of like a dance lip sync that's funny but still like tasteful.
Right. You
So,
still are a professional.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely difficult. There's been videos that I've taken down because I'm like, I'm like, no, that's the wrong vibe. It's always been about making connections with you,
Yeah.
and like the students at Chapman, and whatever popularity comes from it. I've been asked to do some things. I've never really done anything. I've got some free products, but that's not my purpose.
Are there any officers that okay, I can totally go to this guy and he'll do the TikTok with me or anything like that?
They pretty much all take convincing.
Yeah?
The ones that I can get to do it, I have to kind of talk them into it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I have to say like, hey, this one's okay, and I have to like fully explain what we're doing. And we have had a couple officers that were like, I'll do whatever, but it's just it's just hard to keep those guys around because normally those are pretty good officers, and so most of them have gone on to be police officers and go work somewhere else.
So is that a big pipeline of Chapman P-Safe officers?
I'd like to think we do a pretty good job of training our officers. And so our young officers that come here, they get trained on how to write reports and how to, be visible and how to patrol. And we teach them basics of, tactics and that kind of thing. And so I think it's a good foundation for them to go into law enforcement. And from what I've heard, people who hire really like Chapman applicants.
Really?
So it's good and bad, right? Like we
Yeah.
train them to do a good job, but then we lose them because they do a good job.
Right. So I have one question about the TikTok regarding Chapman administration is how do they feel about this whole thing? 'Cause this is probably crazy of them to find out that you're now viral one day.
Yeah, so this started probably, I think the first big video was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was not a lot of organizations on campus that were doing TikTok and Instagram and that kind of thing. So I think they were a little hesitant at first, you know? And they even like asked me to like pump the brakes a little bit.
Really?
So I kind of stopped for a little while.
Yeah.
And then kind of as other organizations on campus started doing it, they were like, you know, we actually kind of like that. You know, would you mind like start doing it again? They actually like asked me like, can you start doing social media and stuff again?
Really?
And so, and now I've got like a full team. You know, like now I've got all these kids that help me with social media. And so besides doing the TikToks, like last year we were doing like Show Me Tuesdays, where we would I would just hold up a poster, right? And we kind of mimic other viral stuff on TikTok and Instagram. You know, there's like the two guys that will have a sign and be like, bring me a couple of noodles for like $100, and people like sprint and go like find something and bring it to them. So we're kind of mimicking that, and we're getting ready to do a scavenger hunt around campus.
When's that going to be?
It's a good question. It's going to be like QR codes around campus, and it's going to like change every day, and like the first 3 people will get like a swag bag each day, and then I think maybe we'll take all the people who have gotten like the first 3 and maybe like give them like a mini fridge or something that
nice.
Like we'll draw one name out. And we're still kind of working on it, you know, but we're always looking for new ways to collaborate with people on campus. So, you know, we've kind of refined it, and, you know, now we do the crime log pretty regularly, and we try and do outreach, you know, stuff on campus. And so it's not always just TikTok videos.
You've figured out a way to get involved in campus. Is you attend all these events, and I feel like I also work in Memorial Hall, and every time I'm working, I see you in the audience for whether it's a play or air bands or anything like that. What got you to start doing that?
I just love being a part of what's going on. You know, I think for me, the mindset has to be like, you all are like my kids.
Yeah.
You know, and so I want to support you in what you're doing. And I think initially I'd be like riding my bike around campus at night and locking up buildings, and I would ask y'all, hey, what are you guys practicing for? Or what are you guys up to? And maybe they're rehearsing for air bands, or maybe they're getting ready for Improv Inc. or whatever, you know, and they'd let me know when their stuff was, and they'd ask, or the first group who really invited me in was Chaptones. And they're like, hey, come to a rehearsal. Hey, this is when our next show is. And so like when they did that, it really got me to start asking other students like, hey, what are you guys into? And then just really made it so that students on campus let them know that, hey, someone is interested in what they're doing. Yeah. You know, outside of just being a student, you know, and so I love that stuff. And then the energy at like air bands and stuff is just insane, you know?
Yeah.
Before I was ever asked to judge, I actually even brought one of my daughters to an air band's performance, and she loved it. And it's probably why she ended up joining a sorority at her college, because she loved seeing what our Greek life was like. And so I think just being a part of that and just feeling the energy that's involved in that stuff. And I know we don't have a big D1 football team and tailgating, but I like going to football games. Yeah. You know, I like going to our a cappella events. I even, I got to sing with Soundcheck last year, so that was kind of fun, you know? So, and so it's stuff like that. That's pretty cool, you know? Yeah. So it goes from like being in the audience to like being invited to like go do stuff. And I'm like, you don't want me to do that. And they're like, yeah, for sure we do. So I think I've been in Delta Queen a couple times. Yeah. I got to sing with Soundcheck. I made that music video last year. And then it's just like, great. Like however I can help you out or be involved and you want me there, I'll be there.
You have a performative streak. Do you do any hobbies of performing on your own outside?
So like I kind of touched on it a little bit. Like in high school, I think I was a closet thespian a little bit, and it wasn't until my senior year that I had the confidence to really like go do any shows or anything. And I squeezed in between all my sports, you know, and then I kind of didn't really do anything for a long time. And then I had my 2 daughters who are both into theater. One is a performance major, and the other one does like theater design. Yeah. And so my one that's a performer, when she was, I want to say like 2nd or 3rd grade, she started doing shows. And, you know, at that age, it's just community theater. And they said, well, you know, if they're less than 14 years old, they have to have a parent here. And so I was there, and they're like, hey, if you're going to be here, why don't you be in the show? You know? And so I started off being just like a chorus member. And by like the 3rd or 4th summer, I was like a lead in the show. And we do musicals. I mean, I've been in Annie and King and I, and this last summer, what show we do? I can't even remember now, but it's been a blast. Oh, we did Sound of Music this last summer.
Yeah.
So I was Maximilian Detweiler, and one of my other daughter was the Baroness. So we got to kind of play off each other a bunch. And so, like, besides getting to perform, like, I get to spend time with my kids, So that's a huge benefit to that stuff.
I wanted to ask, do you have any advice for freshmen here at Chapman who are just coming in and getting oriented with college?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think I can speak as like a parent and as like public safety, and from going to college, I think the biggest thing is get involved. There are so many clubs on campus and so many different organizations, that there is something for literally everybody, whether you're into Harry Potter or reading books or performing or singing, or playing chess or whatever. Like, we literally have clubs for everything on campus, and get involved. There's something out there, and this is your first time away from home, and kind of you're away from all of your high school relationships. You're away from your parents. You need something to connect to, and so if you've got a group that you can at least go hang out with, and maybe you don't get along with your roommates or whatever, like, you need a group outside that you can relate to and connect with. And so get involved. Go do something, get outside your comfort zone a little bit, and go get involved in something.
Do you have any clubs that you've had a good time just like getting connected with and being involved with?
Oh, there's so many.
Hit us with some recs.
I mean, it really depends on what you do.
Yeah.
Improv Inc. has been a lot of fun to get to know. But I'm doing a little event with the surf club tomorrow, and so I just enjoy being out there and getting to know you guys. So and I haven't had a bad experience with any of our clubs on campus, and so I pick one. I think our student involvement website probably has a list of all the approved clubs, and then there's other stuff too. I mean, you want to be part of the kumquat, or you want to be a moderator on Fizz or whatever. Like, there's literally stuff for everybody.
Yeah. Speaking of Fizz.
Oh boy.
We don't have to go too far into
Yeah.
it. But what's the craziest thing that you've seen, or do you even look at Fizz ever?
So I will say public safety monitors Fizz a little bit, but it's obviously totally anonymous.
Right.
And when there's crazy stuff on there, people will say, like, somebody got hurt or whatever. I know we've tried to investigate, and they won't release any information on there. So, like, it's totally anonymous. So the crazy stuff on there, I can't even talk about. Like, because it's anonymous. Like, there's so much trolling that goes on there, but then there's like fun stuff too. People have said really nice things about me on there, and so I'm really not on there very much, but I have student workers, and I've got students who are friends with me, and so they'll send me screenshots. They're like, "Hey, did you see this?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't see that." So every once in a while, I'll get screenshots of me on Fizz, and it's fun sometimes, and when it's shade, it's just like you just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Yeah.
What's the craziest experience you've had at Chapman or that you've witnessed?
I will tell you, Orange is this like safe, mellow place, and I come from law enforcement where I saw legit scary, crazy stuff. There's nothing that I've seen here that even measures up to the stuff that I saw as a law enforcement officer, so, cars crashing into an electric box, or, kids getting too drunk and throwing up and trying to get them back to their dorm rooms. I mean, it's just kind of part of the job at this point. And so that I don't know that there's anything totally crazy. I would say if you really want to know like what goes on around campus, go watch our crime log videos, or even go search on the school website for the crime log and read through, and you'll see all the stuff that kind of goes on here.
The orange circle keeps getting crashed into. Do you have why do you think that keeps happening 4 times in 4 years?
I would say majority of the time it's probably a DUI,
Yeah.
But most of them have been either police are chasing them. They've added all kinds of barriers and all kinds of stuff to kind of prevent it, but, it's just kind of it's a circle, you know. People think it's a big straight road, and then they come up and there's this big fountain in the middle of the road. So if you know when those happen, there is actually a webcam that shows the circle. And sometimes if you catch it soon enough, you can go back and you can actually like watch it happen and stuff. So let's work in graveyard and you hear that happen, like instantly we're jumping on the webcam. We're like, hey, let's go watch that, you know? So, yeah.
Do you have any safety recommendations of how we as Panthers can have a better experience and just live safer lives here at Chapman?
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of my job now as the emergency manager, but I was also doing safety presentations prior to becoming the emergency manager. And I've talked to Greek life organizations and clubs on campus about safety, and we offer a lot of stuff. There's the blue phones around campus that if anyone's got something going on, and they can push the button and call our dispatch directly. We've got a safety app called Rave Guardian, and you can set a safety timer on there. So if you're walking back to your dorm late at night, set a timer for as long as it's going to take you to get there, and when you get there, you can turn it off. Or if it goes off, we're going to call you and check on you. Hey, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. Or no, hey, there's someone following me. You can send an officer. And then worst case scenario, you set a timer, you don't answer the phone, we're going to get your last known location, and we're going to go check the area. So I really like the Rave Guardian for that. And you can also text our public safety through this app. This is probably one of the most underutilized things on campus is the Rave Guardian app. Doesn't cost you anything. You use your email to log into it. But you know, you sit down at Starbucks and some strange person sits down next to you. Obviously you don't want to get on the phone and be like, yeah, hey, this blonde guy with a red shirt and tan pants just sat down. Can you guys come check him out? Like, you know, then you know that person's going to get all, you know, weirded out. But you can text us and no one's ever going to know that you're even letting public safety know that you're contacting us. Safe Ride. Safe Ride's huge, and we've got this van service, and it's free to register. You can find us find Safe Ride through the Instagram or on the school website. It's free to register. It basically starts around 7:45 every night, and then Sunday through Wednesday it ends around 12:15, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday it goes till like 2:30. And so that's a great service, and it's all run by students. So you got student drivers, student navigators, and so you're never going to be in a car with like some Uber driver or whatever else, you know. And it goes about 1.5 miles or so from campus, and it's all online now. It's super easy to use, and I recommend everybody kind of get familiar with it.
Do you have any parting words for Chapman, just getting your message out of more of what P-Safe is and what you guys do to differentiate yourselves from traditional law enforcement?
Yeah, we look like cops. Right? I mean, we wear a uniform, we look like police officers, but we are just Chapman Public Safety. You know, we are not armed, but we do whatever we can to protect you, right? And we train with law enforcement, so they are more prepared to come deal with, you know, more extreme threats. But we're here to keep you safe and hopefully get you back to your dorms at night and open doors and jumpstart cars and give you rides and do whatever we can so that you have an enjoyable college experience. If you see somebody who doesn't belong, like, call us, you know? Who knows? Maybe it's a student who's stressed out and it's finals time and they haven't taken a shower and whatever, and they look a little disheveled. We're going to come and ask them, like, for their student ID and make sure they should be here and stuff, you know? And if they don't belong here, we're going to ask them to leave, you know? Yeah. So one of the big things, if you see something, say something. We actually keep a whole board of faces at our briefing room of people who've been asked to leave campus. But if we don't get called right away and this person leaves, then we can't get a picture of them, we can't get their name. So the sooner you call us about something like that, the better, because we can respond right away. We can get a picture of them, maybe get their name, and then we can pass that information along to oncoming shifts and let them know, like, who we talked to and that, hey, this person shouldn't be on campus. I love you guys. Like, you are like my kids, and I just want you all to have a good experience. And I kind of think about when my kids were at college, like, hopefully they're public safety officers. We're taking care of them like I take care of you guys. If you ever need anything, please reach out, you know. And literally there's no request that's too small. We've literally responded because there's spiders or lizards in the dorm room. If you're struggling with something, if you need someone to talk to, we're here to help. So, or if you need an actor for your, you know, show or whatever, like, give me a call, you know, or you want to dance and you want to do a TikTok, like, let me know. So I'm game, and I rarely say no.
Well, Safety Manager Hinson,
yeah,
thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming on the podcast for the first episode.
You're welcome. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Be safe out.